just think you can flap your yap. No cap, yo, we looking at the facts and stats. Second city gritty to across the map. Put your cleats on your feet while we run some laps. Buckle up your seat while we have some chats. Who the GOAT on the court, pictures and running backs. Plug in your jacks and you're whipping your phone. Shalom, let's get it on, just a set in the tone.
Welcome everyone to Setting the Tone. I got my man not J Mac, damn, the boss with me today. My bad, boss.
Same color, different facial structure.
Today on the Setting the Tone, we're gonna dive into the future of the Chicago Bears under general manager Ryan Poles.
Yes, sir.
After 3 straight seasons of losing and mid-season firing of the head coach, Poles is still at the helm. He's tasked with hiring a new head coach, drafting future stars, and navigating free agency. Big question, does Poles deserve to continue to lead this franchise, or has he already had enough chances? Let's break it down. Boss man.
Hey, right off the bat, I say we give him one. I think Kevin Warren wants to give him every opportunity to say he put his stamp on whether it's the coach or the quarterback or whatever system we run. So there's no excuse. You know, I've always been a military man. I've always been taught you take all the excuses away from somebody, and then you really see how full of shit they are. You know, I mean, excuse my French, but that's just the way it needs to be said. You take every excuse away from whether it's I don't want to get up in the morning to I don't want to be fired from my GM job. You take the excuses away, you let them prove their worth, and then you see how full of shit they really are. And I think that's what Kevin Warren is doing. I think that he's smart for doing it that way as well.
I like that philosophy. Take the excuses away and see who you got as a man.
Yeah. You want a number one pass rusher? Give it to him. You want this quarterback? Give it to him. You want this system? Give it to him. You want this coach? All right, now, boom, do your job.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if you do it that way too, when it's time to promote or terminate, it's easier because that person knew that he was given. And that's the philosophy that I took as a HR at my job, before I retired. And that's the way it is. You if you can leave a person with the same respect that they walked in the door with, everything is easier from discipline to termination.
Okay. We're gonna expound on that a little bit more a little bit later. Right now, let's start to talk about some Ryan Poles' successes, specifically like his best moves in free agency and the draft.
Okay.
Are there enough bright spots in his tenure to justify keeping him around with those moves? So he's free agency. He got Tremaine Edmonds. I know J Mac ain't gonna like that, but he got
TJ Edwards.
TJ Edwards. Those another bright spot. Kevin Byard is a bright spot.
I like that. I know a lot of people don't talk about him, but I like Owens, man. I just like the way he
Jonathan Owens. Okay, we can mess with that.
I love
He's decent. That's a good backup safety right there. So
we got him from the Packers before he left. What is it, Buffalo before here?
I don't know who he was
before.
Buffalo.
I think I know he was Green Bay because remember, Miss Simone Biles got in trouble for wearing that Green Bay Packer jacket.
Yeah, that first time in Chicago.
In the stadium. Yeah.
She was tripping, wasn't she?
yeah, but I gave her a pass. Number one, put all that gold around her neck. Number two, she just don't know. She's a gymnast, so we go.
She don't know how the rivalry runs, how deep it runs.
Exactly.
It was his first home game. She didn't know better. She learned quickly and flipped it. And Simone Biles is one of my favorite gymnasts ever. My favorite Olympic athletes ever. So I'm gonna give her a pass.
She's earned it. She's earned it. Yeah. Her comeback story from that debacle at the last Olympics make her journey all that more respectful.
Facts.
That's about the deepest you can fall, get up, come back, and have that kind of success that she had this past Olympics. Oh yeah, that's a story. It's gonna be told. Somebody gonna tell it.
Oh yeah, she's one of the greatest Olympians ever. She's in the top 3 or 4 at least.
Gotta be, without a doubt.
Of those free agent signings that we mentioned under Poles, which one stands out as the most impactful though? Like, are they really that impactful, or are they good?
Well, if I could probably name a couple, I think the Dexter, which was on his watch, is
Well,
very
that wasn't a
impactful. I
free
think
agent. I'm
his.
just talking about the free
Oh,
agents.
you mean as far as free agent?
Yeah.
Like the Kevin Byard signing. I like the T.J. Edwards. I mean, he was leading Philly in tackles before he came over here, and I think this is the first year since he's been here that he's not leading in tackles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I know it's usually T.J. Edwards leading us in tackles since he's been here. I think it was Green, the number 52, what was his name? I think he led the league. Then it was Tremaine, and then it was not Tremaine. Then it was T.J. Edwards, and then Tremaine was our third lead tackler.
Okay.
So that kind of production, 100+ tackles from both of the guys, I think those were good picks. Despite what J Mac would say about Mr. Edmonds, I think he has done enough to say that pick is at least on even level. I don't think we've gotten as much as I thought we would get out of him, but I think he's produced enough to say that trade or the signing was good.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that T.J. Edwards was probably his best free agent signing, and the Tremaine
Hmm.
Edmonds signing is not Roquan Smith, but
Right. Yeah.
he's a different style of player. He's going to cover
Yeah.
the passing lanes a lot better
Yeah.
than Roquan will,
Right.
and you pair him with T.J. Edwards, and that money that was spent is just equal to Roquan. So you got 2 for 1, you know.
Right. And,
So
and that alone, in my opinion, makes the deal worth with the production that we've gotten from both players since they've been here.
right,
You take that, I take that over one player any day. Plus,
right. You fill in
the
two
style of defense.
positions for the price of one, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a win. It's a win all day. But you think about it though, you got Roquan, which is more of a downhill linebacker,
Right.
and you got Edmonds, who can play downhill if he's got the right protection from them down linemen. But he's also a sideline to sideline runner, and Roquan is not. So I still think we won that trade between those two players. I love the Kevin Byard trade. I also love the Jonathan Owens trade because of the way he attacks the run coming into the tackle box, or the run box. So I like everything about that so far. He
Yeah, I
hasn't
think
hit on everything, but I those four I like.
yeah, those some great points in Pose's ability to identify the Bears' needs in free agency. Um,
Hmm. I think the trouble with Trayvon Edmonds and our fan base is that he's not the typical linebacker that we have roam in the middle. He's not the
Facts.
Singletary. He's not, for those little times we had Brian Cox. I don't know if a lot of people remember we had him
I
for about one
love
or two
Brian
seasons.
Cox, man.
Yeah, the Brian Coxes and those type of downhill linebackers, we're used to that, and I think we broke the mold with Urlacher, who was a downhill runner and a side to side runner, protection guy, and play in the middle of the field, and he was able to do both successfully for over a decade. So I think that with that, I think we broke the mold of the Brian Coxes and the Singletaries and the buckets, you know what I mean? We
Yeah,
broke that
yeah,
mold, but we saw that it still was impactful. And it is, if you look at it, I would rather have that range of motion as opposed to just somebody who's imposing, filling those gaps and, doing the run fits.
right. He's
So,
similar to Urlacher, except Urlacher can be downhill as well. Urlacher
right.
can play the
Yeah, he's
passing
better
and
at,
downhill. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Urlacher put the weight on because remember he played
Safety.
safety at New Mexico. He didn't play
Hmm.
linebacker, but he was fearless of the run. So it
Right.
was to me that was a project that worked real good in our favor, which may be the reason why they still keep trying to find that diamond in the rough
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
can't seem to do with our linemen.
It's
So
hard to fill them big shoes like that for real.
it is,
Um,
and it's hard. A lot of people need to understand it's hard to hit on every pick too. I don't think you
yeah,
can. I know for a fact there's not one team GM or whoever uh, is in charge of picking the players. You can't name one that's been hit on all of them. Some has been more successful at it, but no one has hit on all their picks. So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
yeah, for sure. That's a good point. Um, let's talk about his drafting. Poe's drafted players like Jaquan Smith, Jaquan Brisker, Darnell Wright,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of course Caleb. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all of those players shown promise. But is this enough to show Pose is building a strong enough foundation for the future?
I think he's had more success with the with signing trades and free agent frenzy type things. I think he's had more success with that, but he's hit on a couple that has shown us that they can be that guy. And health has gotten away, a la Tevin Jenkins. We know what Tevin Jenkins can do when he's healthy.
That,
We've
that's not
seen the
his. That's
kind of
not his. That's not his
well,
draft
that's not
pick
his.
though.
That's right. You're right. That's
Yeah,
Pace, ain't it? That was
yeah.
Pace,
He
my
leaning
bad.
on another man's
But
pick.
right. But okay, so Darnell Wright. Okay. Last year, he looked like, okay, bookend. We got him for the next decade. And then this year he regressed a little bit. So we got a couple players that show them to be what we want them to be, but they can't do it on a consistent basis. Like Velez. Velez would be like the weakest, example to me. He had a couple of bright spots in there, but he never kind of got my, confidence into what you don't even belong in a Bears jersey. You don't carry yourself like a
No.
Bear, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, I think he totally missed on that. But you do see the flashes within the punt returns when he can field them, the quick screens when he can catch them. So,
Yeah.
you've seen some flashes for some of these. Javon Dexter, man, his jump from year one to year two is quite exceptional. I think if Billings would have been there the whole year, I think our defense wouldn't have slid as far as it did. We weren't able to get the bit of pressure that we were getting. We were getting timely pressures with Billings in there. We didn't get it every
Yeah.
down, but when we needed that third down and 12 type rush, second and 10 type rush, we were getting those at the right time when they went on that streak. Billings got hurt. It hurt.
Yeah. My opinion. I think he hit on Jaquan Brisker. Excellent safety.
Hmm.
He plays
Hmm.
Bears football. Period. Simple as
He
that.
does. He
Um,
does.
just worry about his health and his
That's
safety.
it.
Darnell
Yeah.
Wright, I think he hit on Darnell Wright. He might have regressed a
Yeah.
little bit, but he's a right tackle. He's not a left tackle. So I think
Hmm.
he's going to be able to hold it down for, like you said, the next decade.
I think
Javon
that next
Dexter,
year is going to be a real good year for him.
yeah, Javon Dexter. I think that was a good pick,
Hmm.
but it's still a wait and see. It's still a work in progress. So I want to see one more year, see if he can take another
Hmm.
level, see if he can
Right.
become Pro Bowl level at his position because we need someone at that particular position to dominate the line of scrimmage.
You got to be able to play like Hicks played it for us. You,
Yeah,
you you put
exactly,
Hicks there and leave him
exactly.
alone. Yeah. You put
Like
Hicks
we need
there and leave him
someone.
alone. Let him clog up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if he can eat up 2 blocks, that's excellent, and I think he can. I think one of the things that we miss when we talk about Javon Dexter, whether it's in a good way or bad way, understand that he changed his whole body formula this year. So now
Yeah,
it usually, just like injuries, it usually take a year, sometimes two, mentally to get back to where you want to be or where you was before you got injured or started your journey. With him, now that he's got the weight that he want to play at, now he need to put muscle back on it. Because you can look, if you look at him, he looked skinnier, but he also didn't look as strong up top. So I think a year off with his PTU physical trainer, whoever it is, to put that muscle weight back on him, I think he's going to be a monster in year 3. I really do.
I'm hoping
If
so,
he
bro.
continues to take it as serious, because to do
Yeah,
what he did coming back from year one and now, that was a move that
that was
has
a
to be
big
here,
jump.
not
I
just
I
here.
loved him
Right.
this year.
Yeah. So,
His body
and I think
transformed,
that,
like you said.
oh
His
man,
game
yes.
transformed. Um,
Hmm.
he might have gotten a little worn out towards the end of the season, but like you said,
Hmm.
it's a building block. It's a building year from changing his body type, and just
Hmm.
hopefully next season he takes another jump and become that elite 3 tech. But
Right.
so we talked about the free agent hits, free agent signings that he
Okay.
hit, and the
Hmm.
draft picks that he hit. Let's talk about some of the free agent signings that he
Gaps.
missed out on, that he
the,
didn't
the
pan out.
gaps.
Let's talk about
Right.
the Chase Claypools, the Nate Davises, the PJ Walker that never made it out of preseason. Remember him, the backup quarterback we should
Yeah.
have had?
Yeah. Yeah.
Players like that. Um,
Right.
do Poe's free agent misses overweigh his hits? Is my next question. Or is it on par? Or is it par for the course as far as the NFL goes? You can hit and miss, but of course you're going to hit and miss, but does his
Right.
hits outweigh his misses, or does his misses outweigh his hits? I guess is my question.
I think that he's had enough success with the guys that we no longer have or no longer see as help for the team. I think he's I think he's hit on it enough to where we can give him this year. Um, although the guys like Velez and PJ Walker they're not a bright spot with what we've been doing. I think the Tremont, the Edwards signing, the Edmonds signing, drafting Brisker, drafting Dexter. I think he's done enough with the components of the team as far as personnel to give him this year. Yeah, I feel strong about saying that too. I have no, I don't have any. I just think he deserves it from the work that he's done so far. I think he deserves it this year. Now after this year, if we ain't win at least 10 games, he can't complain either. He's been given ample time that he shouldn't have been given because he should have got rid of Flus last year. Out of all honesty, even though I was with it and I still am, I wouldn't change it. If the defense was playing as good as it was, keeping him was a plus as long as the defense stayed at the level that they were ending last year, and they didn't. So all fingers point to he should have got rid of Flus last year. So this year, yeah,
Yeah.
he deserves it. But next year, if he don't win at least 10 or 11 games, you might as well just step down and that old bullshit message they blew. Him and the team came to a mutual agreement. Yeah, okay.
No,
That's that. Listen here,
we ain't
bro.
trying to hear
We
that.
finna
We
let you
know,
go.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's a
that's
fire.
that.
It's not a mutual understanding or a mutual agreement. You just got fired.
Nah. Right, and that's that old. Listen, man, we gonna go in a different direction. Now, what we can do is say that we can't do a mutual understanding for your benefit, so that it won't look bad being fired. But if you go in here and you badmouth this team, then we will, we
Yeah.
will do what we have to do. So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was
On his
one of those firings.
My take on his hits and misses during free agency is I think it's about equal. He hit some good ones. He missed
Hmm.
some really bad. Like he knew
That's
better on
fair.
the He knew better on the Nate Davis signing. He knew better. Vrabel already put it out there in the world. He's not
Hmm.
he's not a hard worker. Nate Davis is not a hard worker.
Right.
So he knew better on that one.
Yeah.
The Chase Claypool, he
I
kind of knew
think.
better on that one
Yeah.
because Chase Claypool fizzled out and died out quick in Pittsburgh. You know, Pittsburgh don't want
Yeah.
you. Why should the Bears want you?
All
You know what
right.
I'm saying? If you're a good player, Pittsburgh ain't gonna let no good receiver just walk away. You know, he they just let him walk away. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he kind of
I
he
think.
kind of knew better. Mike Tomlin didn't let that
Yeah.
happen for nothing.
Yeah, and I
PJ,
think that he should have known better with Tomlin. Pittsburgh and Chicago is kind of the same type of city, blue collar, hard worker type deal. So I think that you got to know the people you're dealing with. You got to know that Mike Tomlin, he don't play that bull. He's a player friendly coach, but he's firm in what he does.
right?
And if you fit into what his teachings and the way he wants to run a team, then he is a player friendly coach. If you think you finna get by this, this work ethic and all that boy, then he gonna eat your ass alive. So I think in that way, Poles should have knew that Chase Claypool was not the way to go. Even though now Chase Claypool rookie season was a motherfucker. Now he ain't been
It
shit since,
was.
but I can
It
see why
was.
he, production wise, I can see why he would take a chance. But knowing what kind of guy Mike Tomlinson are, I definitely would have listened to anything he had to say. Knowing what kind of work ethic Mike Vrabel has, I definitely would have took what he had to say into consideration, highly consideration. So yeah, a
Right.
lot of those. A lot of
And I
those
want to
sticking his,
clarify.
foot in his mouth situations could have been avoided.
I want to clarify that Chase Claypool was not a free agent signing. It was a trade that the Bears lost on that
Hmm.
trade, and Nate Davis was a free
Yeah,
agent
we did.
signing. But yeah, and the
Yeah.
PJ Walker.
Well, I don't feel too bad because Pittsburgh and Miami also got burnt by Claypool, so we ain't the only one. I don't feel as
Say
bad as
misery
I did.
loves
Like, dude,
company.
what did you see in this cat? Right. I just don't
Yeah.
understand. You can see what they see in some of these players, but what did they see in Claypool other than the production line?
I saw the
They spoke to
talent. I
his
just didn't see
practicing habits.
I just didn't see I saw the talent. I just didn't see the attitude out of him. And he was having those attitude problems in Pittsburgh, and that was enough for me to have a red flag. Like, let's not overlook these red flags. You know what I'm saying? It's there.
And I think the success he had in his college career, coupled with the success of his rookie season, he got in that all dangerous position of I made it. No, you're just here.
Yeah.
You made it here. Do you have
Yeah.
lasting power? And I think he got bit by that. Yeah, I'm here now. All I got to do is do what I usually do. I ain't got to get no better. I know what I'm doing. Blah blah blah. So yeah,
Yeah.
he
Like, this
got
a
bit.
professional level. You're
Can't
gonna have to
get
conduct
comfortable in this
yourself like
league.
a professional, get rid of the childish attitude,
Hmm.
and step up to the plate. You know?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Because every year you got a mob of the mob of dudes waiting to take your space, and a lot of them is hungry. So got to keep up in this league or get out.
Yeah, free agency is always a gamble. So you never know what you're gonna get. You think you're gonna get the player you saw the year before.
Yeah,
You think you're gonna get, a
yeah,
player that's gonna change his ways if you gambling really.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we just have to say,
yeah.
it
I
was
mean,
some
look at
head
that
scratching
Jalen
moves
Carter.
there.
Yeah. Hey, look at Jalen Carter. Do we still feel the same way about Jalen Carter now? But I know early in the season he was doing some boneheaded shit that made us glad we ducked him. But the way he's been playing this last month and a half or two, woo! I wouldn't mind having some of that on our team. But I do
Oh
understand. I
yeah,
do
yeah.
agree
We
with
wouldn't have that
do agree
question
with
mark from Dexter right now, hoping he'll take
Yeah,
another jump next season. Because we have Jalen Carter, who's already
yeah.
taking the jumps. You know what I'm saying? So
And doesn't it look like the issues with his attitude is kind of getting better as well? You don't see the as many
right,
people meeting him as he walks to the sideline to talk to him about some of the things that he's doing. You don't see that as much as you did
right,
when he was going through those couple of lapses in judgment.
right. And one of the things they were talking about, I don't know if I was reading or watching it about his being drafted by the
Okay.
Eagles, was they had the infrastructure around him to buffer him from being a bonehead, because they have veteran talent around him, you know, veteran
Yeah.
coaching staff around him.
And and they got a small Georgia family on their roster too. They
Yeah,
got a bunch of Georgia
yeah, they
players on
got a
their
bunch of
roster,
those
so the
players.
familiarity is there too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
that
they can
helps.
insulate him, make sure he stay on
Mhm.
task, make sure he stay out of his own way, shit like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think you know what if more teams would look at that aspect before they drafted players, they'll probably get more good players than bad. You know what I'm saying? If we always say the best skill to have is availability. Well, injuries is not the only way to take you off the field. Outside stuff and bonehead plays and getting the wrong type of
Yeah.
personality in the NFL to get you on the sideline and get your pockets ripped off a lot. So, I
Like,
think a
some
lot of people they
players,
look at the characteristics before they
yeah.
pick.
Some players have undeniable talent, but it's their
Okay.
character sometimes that derails their career. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The Draymond Greens, the Desmond, the Rodmans of the world, that sometimes it makes you not as big of an asset as you think you are.
Facts. Facts on facts, bro.
Yeah.
Free agency and the draft, those are critical things to a team. But the head coach is the face of the team when you think about it. He's the only one on the field without a
Okay.
mask on. You can see him, and he has to be in front of the press every week. Um, Poe's first coaching hire didn't work out, which has raised questions.
No.
Can he get the second one right? Can he get it right the second time? That's the question I have. Can Poles get it right the second time? I'm worried about this.
It's I am too. And a big time worried because we have to get it right. We need to get this right. No, I said it right the first time. We have to get this right. And
Yeah,
and what we've done so far doesn't give me, I don't have enough confidence in the franchise itself. But when you listen to what Kevin Warren said, he said, I said it once and I'll say it again. This job is the most coveted job. He says that we have so much going for us. We have incredible ownership, which is still out. I don't know about a critical ownership, but I know why he had to say it. He said we has the best fan base in the world. We found our franchise quarterback. We have salary cap space. We have draft capital, and we live in a world-class city. We just have a lot of attributes going for us. I am confident that if we do our job from a process standpoint, which we will, and sit down and be open and honest, that people will look at this great opportunity, and from a whatever, from his standpoint, he's confident that if we do it the way he's saying we need to do it, we'll get our guy. And I
Who's
just
this,
can't
Pose
hang
or
on to them
Warren?
words. This is
Who was that?
Kevin Warren saying this.
Okay.
This is a quote. This is a quote from Kevin Warren. This is
Yeah.
on their website, on the Bears website. It's coming from the Bears president and the CEO. This is what they have to say as far as the process. And that was just Kevin Warren saying what he had to say. I haven't really, uh,
So
Mr. McCaskey, I ain't really been on that right now.
it sounds like Kevin Warren is holding Poe's feet to the fire. Like, you better get this right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's showing support to the people that it need to look like that too, and he's also giving his ass a warning because that's what it need to look like to him as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. McCaskey said basically, as the Bears fans we deserve a winner, and we are going to do everything we can. I think with Ryan's leadership and the process that he has outlined, and with guidance from Kevin, Ryan is going to make the best decision going forward. He said he has the benefit of his experience, and he has the benefit of guidance from Kevin, who has been thorough throughout the process. All right.
Okay.
That's what our fearless leaders say. So let's see how that all shake out.
You see, right. I can't wait to see
So,
how this all shakes out with their 13 interviews they requested. So when Poles hired Eberflus, it seemed like it was a choice that was built on strong defensive identity. That's what it seemed like to me. Um, Fast forward to 2024, and Eberflus was
mm-hmm,
fired in the midseason.
mm-hmm.
The Poles' decision to hire Eberflus show a lack of foresight, or was it reasonable given the team state at the time? Like the state of the team at the time, was Eberflus the right hire when he hired him?
Well, you know what they say about hindsight and being 2020 and everything.
Just think about the back to that time.
Yeah.
What the team really needed was Eberflus' strong defensive identity is what was needed most, or did they need something else more than that for a head coach?
And Eberflus took over from Fox, right? Or no,
Eberflus took
Nagy.
over
He
from
took over from
Nagy.
Nagy. Nagy.
Yeah.
Um, when you look at the state of the team with Nagy, yeah, we were floundering, but I think it was because we didn't have the pieces to run what he was trying to run, especially with Cohen getting hurt like that. Because you could see what he was going to do with Cohen in that Tampa Bay game when we blew Tampa Bay out in 2018. You could see what kind of ideas he had for Cohen. And I think his injury derailed that. We didn't have enough weapons to do what he wanted to do. We had a good running back, but our receivers were so-so at best. So I think with this roster, Nagy's offense would have worked better. Would have been
Uh,
as good as it looks over there with his mentor Andy Reid. I don't know, but I think it would have been better if we'd had more of the type of player that he needed to do that. His inability to change up and do what works for Fields or Trubisky was his issue with me. And you know what I said? He didn't know how to manage. He didn't know how to adjust at the halftime. The same guy that was
yeah.
beating us in the first half continued to beat us in the second half. So with that said, I just I don't think he knew what the hell he was doing. So
So yeah.
Eberflus was a good change of pace. I think he was trying to get that defensive presence back, what we were used to in Chicago, because that's what we are, blue collar. I think he was just trying to go with what we usually do to try to maybe please the fan base, but I don't think it was a good choice in Eberflus. I think knowing what we did with Nagy as a first-time head coach, I think we should have strayed away from that after that debacle.
Yeah. My view of this is, after the Nagy firing, we try to go a complete 180, go from an offensive coach to a defensive coach. When in all
Mm-hmm.
actuality, if we're going to be tearing down a team, we need to go with a head coach that knows how to develop talent, or bring in assistants that know how to develop talent, and a head coach that knows how to lead that young talent, not just someone that's supposedly a guru on one side of the ball. That's just my view of it all. But
well,
let's go ahead.
I'm a fan of this latest handle that they're giving it of you want a man's or a coach's coach or whatever. You want a leader of men is what they're saying now. I like that if it's taken in the right context, meaning that Dan Campbell's of the world, Andy Reid's of the world, they get the whole team to buy in. And when you can get that, then it's easier to install what it is you're trying to install, whether on either phase, whether it be offense, defense, or special team. When you get that whole room to buy into what you're doing, your plan, your idea, then it's easier to be that head coach for that group of men. So in that, I love that. If we can get that, coaching becomes easier, even if you're not experienced as you should be at coaching. You have to be. You have to captivate. You got to captivate those guys. You got to get them on your side.
Facts, and we got to consider. In 2022, Poles had the options of Brian Daboll, who went to the Giants, came from Buffalo, was an excellent offensive coordinator in Buffalo. You got to consider he had an option of signing Mike McDaniel as their head coach, who I think is an excellent coach over in Miami. He had a chance to go after Kevin O'Connell, who's got Sam Darnold looking amazing in Minnesota. You know, Chapeau's missed opportunities in the coaching hire weigh heavily against him. He had to fire his coach, but the other coaches are successful, huh?
I think it has to be considered. I think he didn't have to. Was he? Did he bring Reed over to Kansas City? I don't think he was responsible for that, was he? I think he came on board after.
No, I don't think he was responsible for that at all. He was like leading of the scouts or some stuff like that.
Right. So with that said, my point to saying that was I was going to say that he shouldn't be held accountable because this is his first time picking a coach. I think, but what he knows now, this is totally, again, it goes back to what I was saying. I think he's done enough to deserve this last chance. And that goes into that same pot of chances. You know, it was his first time doing the head coach thing. He came into Ryan Pace's mess. So I think he's done enough to right the ship. At least we can see where we're going now, as opposed to being straight lost like we were 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
All right.
So, yeah, I think it should be considered, but I think it should be considered after this year.
Yeah, I feel like the candidates that were available, and in hindsight, like you mentioned earlier, is 2020. But those candidates look really good right now, or some of them look really good. Some of them look, and
well, Daboll, yeah.
I always like Daboll. I don't think that what's going on in the Giants is on him. I think that's on the front office. But
I was gonna say that too. I don't think this was going on in New York is indicative to what kind of coach he is. I think he got a bad rap. Everybody can't turn it around. Look how long Detroit took to really get somebody to turn around. Matt Patricia couldn't turn it around. Man, I mean, I thought they were on to someone that got Matt Patricia.
The front office had to be there on a line too, and they changed their front office as well. So and then we got to think about this past off season when they actually had another opportunity to move on from Eberflus, and there was some candidates out there that were available that I felt were more qualified than Eberflus after his first 2 seasons. Like, get him out of here. He ain't shown me nothing. And I understand he was under contract, but you wasted a whole year, in my opinion, keeping Eberflus on board when you could have switched coaches right then and there in the middle of this past off season. And you had people like Vrabel. You had people like Belichick out there. So I think that was, to me, it's 2 swings and 2 misses, in my opinion. Which is going to bring us to the big picture. Chapeau's remain the GM to pick the next head coach. or are the Bears, or would the Bears be better off starting fresh? And I think you kind of gave your answer earlier. You said give him another year, give him another shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I do think he deserves another shot. I think that if you don't get this right, regardless of what their record is, if you can get lucky off talent, which some of these teams do, and then the next year they falter. You see that a lot. Sometimes they just hit a run where enough people ain't able to adjust or see enough film on what they're doing to catch them before the season over. Then the next year, where you got film on, they plummet,
yeah,
plummet. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a lot in that decision.
yeah. And
Pose,
when
if
you
he
think,
gets it right, and I think he will get it right, he'll be back. If he don't, he's
yeah,
out of there. It's no question. If he don't get this right this year, he's not getting another chance. And then think about what they're saying about Vrabel. We don't want a defensive coach because we're tired of seeing offense flounder. But it was I can't remember the guy who said it, but it was on ESPN. It was a player they interviewed. They said that if Vrabel comes in here, a lot of that bullshit gonna be cut out. So it's
yeah,
a
I saw
culture thing going on in
it was, I
Chicago
think it
too.
was D
Who was
Walk
that?
who said that. I think it was D
Was
Walk
that
who
D
said
Walk?
that.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, D Walk.
Yeah,
Yep, it was somebody.
he said
He said if
that stuff ain't
Vrabel
changed.
comes in
Yeah,
here, it's a lot of that fuck shit that's gonna go away. And I
it's
and
gonna
I
be a lot
and
of
see when he said
details.
it
Gonna
like
be
that,
yeah,
if he said it like that and go out there and get you a real offensive coordinator, do you know what I'm saying? Then
yeah.
that can work because you need that coaching. That's what I was talking about. You get all guys on the same page. If you got, and you can see that too. You can see it from Jalen Johnson. You can see it from Tyreek Stevenson that they don't respect his authority. They are,
Facts,
what he did in that, what Tyreek Stevenson did in that Washington game was unforgivable. That speaks to
unforgivable,
what's going on in that locker room.
unforgivable. I'm so pissed at him still
Yeah,
because
that speaks to what's going
that
on
was a
inside of our
domino that
locker room.
started the slide for the team, man. To be honest
Yes,
with you,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. Because then
yeah,
they did what they were supposed to do, and they called his ass out like they were supposed to do. But then he resented it. The next game he made a boneheaded play too. It didn't affect us as much, but if the next game he made a boneheaded play too, and then he came back from that slowly.
yeah.
So I love his approach. He hits. He ain't making business decisions out there like old JJ. He hitting people out there. Stevenson is hitting people. Remember, he
Yeah,
called that
yeah.
fumble against who was that? He called that fumble at the goal line. Wasn't that against Washington?
I
Or
don't
was
even
that
remember,
against
bro. Can't remember.
whatever game he
But
knocked the dude? They was getting ready. He was on his way to crossing the goal line. He popped him on that shoulder, and that ball popped up, and we got it going the other way. So he can be that player. He just got to get his
he
head
can.
out his ass.
He got to get his head straight, man. He got to keep his head in
Yeah.
the game and stop being,
Hmm. And that's a leader of men.
distracted by bullshit.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah,
I think they mean by a leader of men. And if Vrabel comes here, a lot of this bull crap gonna be cut out. That's so
uh,
they want it though. If he said it, there's other people in the locker room that's saying the same thing. So they want a good
right.
leader. They want somebody that's gonna
It's
make them work because that's what Ryan Poles said. We're gonna create competition every year at every position, which is why I like their roster because when our two main guys got hurt at safety, you had Bayard and Owen come in. Them guys can start for other teams. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
Yep.
I like the way the roster built up, but if you ain't got that leader of men up there, you know, then it's just a bunch of guys on the same team running around getting paid millions of dollars.
Yeah, they definitely. This team definitely needs more discipline and structure, and a strong leader, strong head coach can bring that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Poles talk the talk. We're gonna take the North and never give it back. But
Mm-hmm.
his record in the NFC North is 3-15.
Yeah. So we ain't
In his
took
three
shit but some
years,
ass whooping.
his overall record for the in the NFL is 15-36. So he gonna have
Yeah,
to put
and
up
that
or
that
shut
don't
up.
bode well for him. Yeah, that's it,
Nah.
and that's right. That right there. That's it. That's the whole thing. That says get him out of here. But I just think he's done enough good
Yeah.
on all
So
phases of running the organization that
yeah,
he deserves one more chance.
every decision has two sides. One hand
Hmm.
retaining Poles provides continuity. It gives him a chance to finish what he started, like you're saying. You know,
Hmm.
on the other hand,
Hmm.
his losing records and missteps could justify a complete overhaul.
It can, it can, it
It
can,
can,
and I don't think we'll do a complete overhaul, even if he does get fired next year, I think our roster has some really good components on it. So I don't think we do a complete overhaul. Maybe in the coaches room, maybe that way we could do a complete overhaul. But to get rid of some of the talent we had, unless they don't fit whatever scheme they're trying to run, I don't think they'll shake that roster up too much.
Yeah.
You
So,
know what I'm saying?
what do you think? Poles has the ability to draft pretty good. He takes
He's
good
shown
care
that.
of the cap space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in that sense, he's earned the right to keep shaping the team. He knows how to manage and budget his team as far as the money and getting the right talent. But on the flip side, his record, you know,
Yeah, you can't overlook it.
to
You
make
can't
such a
overlook it.
critical hire, you
Right.
know, that's
But
just
unfortunately, for a lot of these coaches, the reason why you lost don't come with that loss. It just show your ass lost. It don't
yeah,
show that the quarterback had a bad game or the damn special team captain ran into the kicker that cost you 15 yards and he hit the winning field goal. Unfortunately, we don't get all that. It's just wins and losses. Like you said, it's two sides, but we don't get the benefit of it. And if you're not a watcher like we are, we watch the game, we see, and we speak from an objective point of view. So, a lot of these guys wake up and see ESPN, they team and lost, and that's all they need to hear to get his ass on out of town. So, yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt, but
yeah,
he's had the opportunities. He's had the pieces. He had pieces that work and some that failed. To me, if this was based off what he's done in the line, he should have been fired before ever flew. If you
yeah.
want,
That was negligence, man.
because hey, hey, you said it best. Every time we went for a lineman, we went in a damn bar. What you call it, the
Bargain
bargain
bin.
bin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they never. If you'd have had the same type of players at line as you do as Roma Dunze and Caleb, that type of stardom. If he would have picked his lineman, not even that. I mean, Caleb maybe be a little bit too high for a lineman, but definitely you go out there and get the same type of quality as the Roma Dunze and all these guys, Kevin Bayard. If that's alignment with that same type of
Yeah.
experience and capabilities, then we win it. We win it big
You
time. Because that's
look,
the I know that's the difference between us winning and losing.
free agent signings like Kevin Bayard, that could have been an offensive lineman. Um,
Right.
Drive picks
Yeah.
like Roma Dunze and Torrey Taylor, those could have been offensive linemen.
Could have been
You know,
linemen. Yeah. I
so
think they should have
think.
been offensive.
All right,
See, think
so
about this though. Think about this since you throwing out, since we throwing out some superlatives and all these what ifs, you think about this. If we would have did the job that we should have did with these coaches, that number 9 pick and that number 1 pick for Caleb, we could have did the same thing we did when we got DJ Moore. You put the right people behind Fields, and I know he gone, and I get it. We got Caleb, so right with Caleb, but we're talking whatever, so let's talk it. If you get the right type of coaches behind him, a Kellen Moore or what's the coach down in Miami, or a young head, a young
Mike
coach like
McDaniel,
the
yeah,
coach yeah, and or McVay, and and play. Can you picture Fields being in Hurts' position to do that type of offense with Barkley or with Swift last year? When you're
yep,
just as afraid as the quarterback running as you're afraid of the
yep.
running back running,
Because
we
the
will
line is
still
gonna
have
hold it
Fields
hold
here.
it together, yeah. And
Right.
the coaching and the
So now you
line gonna
got the
hold that together.
line. That's all I'm saying. So then we don't need Caleb and we don't need Rome. Okay, well, we could get wrong, but we could have traded that number 1 pick, get a gang of shit like we did for DJ when we traded for that DJ Moore, and still had the number 9 pick, and could have got a badass tackle, bookend tackle, or another lineman, whatever we needed. And then second round, we wouldn't have needed the draft what we drafted. 4th round could have went better with the damn punter we could have gotten the 7th round. However good he is, we could have, and it was a couple punters that outperformed his ass this year with placement of the football.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
in that
drafting a
aspect,
punter that high is
we could
ridiculous.
have done our best.
Considering we brought one into camp during training camp that could have done the job, but
Yeah, and he taking up a roster spot. You could have brought in an extra lineman and see if he would have worked. You got a 4th-round pick. He should have not have no
Right.
competition.
Ain't no competition. We just drafted a punter in the 4th round. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. How could he need competition?
So here it is.
That's crazy.
If not Poles, who should be making the decisions, making the coaching decisions for the Bears? Like, who could be the next GM? Who I say somebody like Ian Cunningham, his assistant. We saw how he pushed Poles away from making rash decisions in the draft, stuff like that. So he might be a candidate. A lot of other teams have been looking at him and interviewing him, and he
he's
might be
already
up for interview again this year. So he could be an option if it's not Ryan Poles. You got other teams. You got the Lions who done great things in their front office and turn over that team. They have assistant GM and executives in their team that could probably step in and do just as good as Ryan Poles or even better.
Absolutely.
Considering they turn their team around. Yeah.
Absolutely. The way I would approach that if I was the GM is I would look, I'm sorry, the team president, if I was Kevin Warren and I was getting rid of Poles, what I would do was find a GM who believes in what I believe in. For example, if Caleb Williams is this type of quarterback and he's a pocket quarterback or he's a running quarterback, I'm going to get a GM that believes in that way of football first. Because if he believes in it, then he's going to get the head coach that can be an extension of what he feels, and he's going to get his coordinators that feels the same way he feels, and then they're going to hire their whatever their help is that feels the same way. So that's, again, everybody on the same page. So you ain't got to worry about if this is my way of this is my offense. I ain't got to be worried about my running back coach teaching my running backs different than what my receiver coach is teaching, because we're all on the same page. And that's easier said than done. But to run an organization as well as the Patriots did it, and they didn't. The only person that the Patriots coveted was Tom Brady. When it was time to go, they let their players go at the peak of their career, and they got the most out of the trades or whatever they did to get the extra picks. So you have to, if you can have this, the majority, if not all, on the same page and the same wavelength, you can't help but to be successful with what you're trying to do. It may take a few years to get it solid, but yeah.
So, and I was gonna say, when you think about it, Kevin Warren hiring a new GM would just put everything in proper order, considering Ryan Poles was not his hire as a team president. He came in after Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles was hired by George McCaskey, and then George McCaskey turns around and make Kevin Warren president and CEO, like, you run the team. Well, I'm running the team with a general manager that I didn't bring in, that I may not have brought in, that I don't even probably I may not even believe in, but I'm running the team with him. So I can see a fresh start happening, but I can see it your way as well, as far as letting him finish in what he started, give him this one more year.
Right.
But we're gonna see if they give him a contract extension, because a new head coach coming here with a lame duck GM is gonna be tricky. So with that being said,
you know what? And as Kevin Warren, I make him aware of all that. This is what's on the line for you, and that goes back to what I was saying. Take all the excuses away. Be upfront. I tell my children this in their everyday life. If you want something to be a certain way, you have to put that out there up front. Don't hope that they get it as they get to know you. This is what I'm willing to work on. This is what I'm willing to accept, and this is what I will not accept. Absolutely not. And if you lay those type of demands and on the table at the beginning of whatever relationship it is, then you know how full of shit people really are. If I tell you, Tom, man, we good, but when you said that the other day, it offended me. And you say, okay, I got it. And then not even, whatever, you do it again.
Yeah.
That's basically like saying screw me in my face, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Facts.
So
I agree 100%.
if you lay something down on the table and you be upfront with whoever you're talking to, it makes it clear. There's not the fog or the high grass like our grandparents used to say. Keep your grass cut low so you see them snakes coming. That type of stuff.
Facts. All right. So with this pivotal offseason for the Bears and a choice to retain Pose, it's going to shape the team, man. It's gonna be the team gonna be shaped for the future because he got to ride this coach out, or if he makes a bad decision on the hire of the new coach, that's his ass.
Okay.
Yeah. So people that's watching us, let us know what you think. Does Ryan Pose deserve to continue leading the way, or should the Bears have a fresh start at general manager? Share your thoughts on this post, and that's it. That's all I got for today. What you got, boss man?
Well, I just when you're a fan like we are, you just want to see some positive steps. You understand at our age that everything doesn't happen in 24 hours. So we just want to see the groundwork laid in the right way. Take your time. Just decide what kind of quarterback you have. If he is the franchise, then get you somebody that's going to play and create a system that fits what he does best. And then again, I know I said it 3 times. Let me say it one more time to make it 4. And then you can see how full of shit he really is. So
Right.
take all the excuses away from these fellas in every position. Take the excuses away. Whether it's I can't play without my Nike socks, get that motherfucker some Nike socks. Whatever. Take all the excuses away. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yeah,
Take all the
dude, I
excuses
love
away
that
from these son of a
philosophy.
bitches.
I love that philosophy.
Yeah.
That's
Just take
you
them
got
away,
that from
man. You take them
you
away
got
and
that from
then
your
listen.
military
Now what?
days.
Yeah. Military days. One of my CC, which is you hear about drill sergeants. The in the Navy, drill sergeant is a company commander, CC. But
Okay,
yeah. She told me I'm gonna strip every reason you got away not to succeed, and then I'm gonna find out how full of shit you really are.
for
And
sure.
she went on to say, "I hope that ain't why your eyes brown." So I, but yeah, I'm looking at her like, okay, I don't know if she flirting or getting on me now, but yeah, I took the message the right way. But yeah,
All right, good people. That's it for me, man. Y'all stay tuned. The next episode, we're gonna probably try to break down the coaching candidates, see
yes,
what best
sir,
fits the Bears squad we have,
definitely.
and
And for what I've seen, it's quite the list. They
quite the
asking the
list. We're gonna
janitors at
break
this
us. We're gonna
point.
break some down. I don't know if we're gonna get into all of them, but we're gonna break some of them down because it's a
Right.
long list.
I say, yeah, maybe the top 10 candidates we should get into and break it down.
Okay.
Because there's a
Okay.
lot of them. That
It's a
list pretty
lot, man.
long.
It's deep. Some of them ain't even worthy of talking about. Like, why are you interviewing this cat? But anyway,
Well, you got
to
your
leave no
cab
stone
drivers in
unturned,
there
I
too.
guess. I leave no stone unturned. Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
can you blame them at this point to look everywhere and
Nah,
anywhere? So,
you can't. All right. Until we see y'all again, people. Thanks a lot, boss man.
deuces.
Yes,
Right
sir.
on, baby. Hey, hit that subscribe button, as my guy J Mac would say, to get some real content from some real
Yes,
people.
sir.
Deuces.